The Opposition.
Thanks, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister for Communications. Did the minister think about isolated, vulnerable and older Australians who rely upon postal services to stay in touch with their families and friends before he reduced postal deliveries to those who need them most?
The Minister for Communications has the call.
Well, I do thank the Leader of the Opposition for his question. You know that there's a by-election on when Labor turns to the old scare campaign, and the scare campaign they're going on this time is about Australia Post and delivery times. The facts are, Mr Speaker, the facts are very clear. The facts are very clear that Australia Post has seen a sharp increase in the percentage of parcels that are being delivered, a sharp increase in the number of parcels that are being delivered, and a sharp decrease in the number of letters that are being delivered. And that is why we have provided temporary, fixed-term regulatory relief to Australia Post so that it is able to redeploy posties from the area of the business where activity is going down to the area of the business where there is growth, so as to secure the employment of posties and to provide Australians with the service that they expect. During the COVID-19 pandemic, what we have seen is a dramatic increase in the number of parcels being delivered because Australians are ordering more and more over e-commerce. And Australia Post is far and away the market leader in delivering parcels, and to be able to meet the needs of Australians to have parcels delivered, Australia Post has come to the government and proposed this short-term regulatory relief, and look, that is what we've agreed to. Now, I hear the Leader of the Opposition say they couldn't employ more. Actually, they are employing more, 600 more for parcels. 600 more. You know, Mr Speaker, this is really the case, another case of a typical Labor by-election scare campaign. The facts are not substantiated by their claims. We've got a Leader of the Opposition who's under pressure. He's under pressure from the member for Rankin. Chalmers plays the long game. I
just say to the minister, he's now straying from the question.
These are highly relevant considerations.
The minister will resume his seat. The Leader of the Opposition on a point of order.
Yes, Mr Speaker. This question was about isolated, vulnerable and older Australians who rely upon their postie to deliver letters to them. He hasn't mentioned any of them. He's just played
Leader of the
politics.
Opposition will resume his seat, and I just say to the Leader of the Opposition, as he well knows, it's not incumbent on those answering the question to mention particular words in the question. The minister is in order. I call the Minister for Communications.
Well, Mr Speaker, we're all concerned about isolated and vulnerable Australians, such as the isolated and vulnerable Leader of the Opposition, because we've got the member for Rankin. He's in his safe place, running in the Brisbane Daisy Hill Conservation Park. And of course, the member for Maribyrnong, also a keen runner. He should be very worried when they all start running.
The minister will resume his seat.